Finally tonight, a story about somebody I guess you wouldn't normally expect us to do a story about, because in most ways he seems like just an ordinary guy. Except for a couple of years a long time ago. He says he was just doing his job. But that doesn't really explain all those medals. Ruth Ezell tonight on more of your stories of World War II.
91-year-old Army veteran Lavern Parker lives in a nursing home facility in Edwardsville. Not that he needs to. He's in good physical condition. It's because Parker wants to be near his wife Wilma, who has Alzheimer's disease. It's Parker's sense of devotion, honor, and love for his family and country that saw him through two of the most difficult years of his life, years spent in Italy fighting the Germans during World War II.
We were fighting some old veteran German members of the military, and they were good shots. They were very accurate in their shooting, and they were tough.
When he was drafted, Parker was 27 years old and the father of 3 in Quincy, Illinois. He managed a number of dry goods stores run by a St. Louis-based company. After basic training at Fort Meade, Maryland, Private Parker was attached to the 91st Infantry Division. The 91st landed in Sicily following the initial invasion by Allied forces in July of 1943. They fought their way north, wresting control of towns and villages from enemy soldiers. One of Parker's regular duties was conducting night patrols to gather intelligence on nearby German troop positions.
You usually had 5 or 6 in a patrol group. It was very important, the information to give to the commanding officer so that we could protect ourselves against the enemy or where we want to attack.
On his tour of duty, Parker earned a few promotions and 2 Bronze Stars. The first Bronze Star was awarded for heroism on October 11, 1944, near the town of Campuzano. Parker's platoon had seized control of a farm, and German troops counterattacked.
And I was walking across this garden. The Germans opened up fire. I knew then we were in for a rough day.
Most of Parker's platoon was pinned down in the farmhouse. He made it to a nearby stream, kept most of his body submerged, and held off the enemy with rifle and grenade fire for 8 hours until his platoon could regroup. Parker's son Clay, who knows the story well, explains how his dad got some help from an unexpected source.
And the chickens that were out feeding in the grassy area around him would look up when somebody was moving through the grass, the Germans. And he was able to do a suppressing fire in that area to either knock out a German or to keep them back where they couldn't get up and counterattack the farmhouse and overrun the platoon.
Parker's second Bronze Star was earned in another region of Italy about 6 months later, by which time he was a second lieutenant. Parker led a patrol that rushed to the aid of friendly forces under siege by the enemy. Despite being greatly outnumbered, Lieutenant Parker accomplished his mission, knocking out enemy machine guns and taking prisoners in the process.
I never killed a prisoner, and I never saw an American kill a prisoner, and we've took a lot of prisoners.
When he wasn't focused on fighting, Parker's thoughts were with his family.
I've laid in a foxhole many a day and thought about my family and what would happen if I didn't get to go back. Who would take care of my family? Who would raise my little girl up and help her become a lady? And those are the things that would break your heart and think about it.
I remember the letters that we would get from him, that we would mail to him, censored many times because of where he was. It had to go through Army censors.
Of all his memories during that period, Parker's fondest is the day he returned home to his beloved Wilma, son Clay, and daughters Martha and Peggy.
I jumped out of that cab and run up them steps. There's about 4 steps to get up there. And I run up them steps and I rang the doorbell. All of a sudden the door swings open. There's the kids and her sister, see, and the kids all hollering, "Hey, Daddy's home, Daddy's home, Daddy's home." Now that is a feeling that you don't ever forget.
Unlike some veterans who prefer not to talk about their war experiences, Lavern Parker loves it. His oral history is part of his legacy to his descendants, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
Oh, I love you.
Just passing down all the stories, and the grandkids would just sit at his feet and listen to them, and Papa would tell us more stories. They just enjoyed him so much.
He never makes himself out to be a hero, but in my eyes, he was.
And that's tonight's Living St. Louis. We have more of our stories and more of your stories of World War II. It's all on the website at ketc.org. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Jim Kircher, and we'll see you next time.